Hi, Dan Schaefer again, Democratic candidate running for the Missouri House of Representatives, District 97. Earlier this year, the Missouri House of Representatives debated a bill called HB 1481 that would strip the St. Louis Police Department of its autonomy and place it under control of a central committee based in Jefferson City. By the way, my Republican opponent supported this bill. Now, HB 1481 includes some disturbing provisions about how the St. Louis police force should be run. First of all, it gives a central committee based in Jefferson City, not St. Louis, but based in Jefferson City, the state's capital. It gives it the power to appoint and organize the St. Louis police force, and set salaries, and establish ranks. Secondly, the central committee would control and enforce officer discipline and seize all police assets, funds, and property from the city. And thirdly, most absurdly, the central committee would have the power to penalize city assembly members if they dare to interfere with the committee's authority. The penalty? Disqualification from holding any public office or job in the city. This last point really sticks in my craw. The plan is to take absolute control of the St. Louis Police Department and intimidate anyone who stands in the way. Now, to make matters worse, the city of St. Louis is expected to fund the police department, but to what extent it is funded, they don't know. It's up to the Central Committee. This is a blatant power grab by a Republican Party that, despite its small government rhetoric, is doing the exact opposite by expanding government control. Forcing taxpayers to fund this authoritarian scheme while punishing those who dare to resist it is, in my mind, taxation without representation. Now, I don't live in St. Louis, and District 97 doesn't cover any part of the city, but still, I'm alarmed and horrified by this raw attempt to grab power from residents nonetheless, because if it can happen in St. Louis, it can happen anywhere. Now let's take a look at who backed this power grab. HB 1481 was introduced by 5 Republicans in the Missouri House of Representatives, and every single Republican present, including my opponent, voted for it before it was passed to the Missouri Senate. Now, fortunately, it died in the Missouri Senate. Thankfully, it died in the Missouri Senate. But you can bet that they will propose it again in the next legislative session. Now, Republicans argue that taking over the St. Louis Police Department is their way of addressing high crime in the city. But what they don't tell you, it's very important, what they don't tell you is that on a per capita basis, St. Louis actually ranks 47th in the state in terms of crime rate. Now, the highest city might surprise you. Potosi, Missouri, with a population of just over 2,500 people, has a crime rate of at least 4 times that of St. Louis. This is indicative of some issues we're having in the rural areas where there's a rising crime rate. That's the topic of a different video. Let's go to a more metropolitan area. Let's go to the 3rd largest metropolitan area in Missouri. Springfield, Missouri, has a population of about 170,000 people and a crime rate that's 1.5 times that of St. Louis. So the question becomes now, will the extremist Republicans in the state legislature seek to take over their police department next? I wouldn't put it past them. Folks, this is unacceptable. We must push back against the extremists in the Republican Party who seek to turn our state into a centralized police state, where we're forced to pay for a police department over which we have no control. So how do we fix this power grab? We must break the Republican supermajority in our legislature. Now, there are enough Democrats on the ballot this year to do exactly that. It's our only defense against a runaway authoritarian regime taking over our state. As a final note, let's take a step back a little bit and look at the bigger picture. You can consider each state in the Union a crucible for experimentation, where the desirable results will quickly scale up to the federal level. Now, you've heard a lot of talk about the Republican Party's Project 2025 and its authoritarian effect on our national government. But what you may not realize is that many of the tenets of Project 2025 are already in play right here in Missouri and other states, as well as like Oklahoma, Louisiana, Florida. You see it play out right here in Missouri when the Republican Party keeps trying to break our unions. You see it play out when the Republican Party completely removed women's reproductive freedom and threatened the rights of women and minorities, and LGBTQ. You see it play out when books are banned from our local library. Folks, if we don't stop this insanity on the local level, you can bet we'll soon be fighting it on a national level. And by that time, it might be too late. Again, my name is Dan Schaefer, Democratic candidate running for the Missouri House of Representatives, District 97. Thank you for your time.